10 years of Dokkan Battle and a free 10th anniversary LR. The best present yet. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the special 10th anniversary Porungo Wish and who I believe is the best choice of your Memorial Dragon Stone. The final set of the Porunga Dragon Balls will be live in about 17 hours from the release of this video. Throughout this campaign, we have been collecting up each of the balls all the way up to the 5-star ball as of the 9th. Now, on the 20th at 7 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, again, 17 hours from the release of this video, you will be able to clear the last two and make a special Porunga Dragon Ball Wish. Last night at about 1 a.m. my time, they released this ad campaign, which seems to indicate that once completion of the Dragon Balls, we will be able to make a wish that will allow us to recruit any of our favorite characters from the past year, starting from the first post-Annie DFE, first form Frieza, all the way up to the end of the year with Daima Goku. And if that wasn't all, they're also guaranteeing us at least one of the 10th anniversary characters. So we're going to spend the majority of this video breaking down who I believe are the best choices for this stone, because it's not an easy choice. It is very much box dependent. So I do want to reiterate something, because I do know there has been many questions about it. According to the info here in the message below this, right, a lot of people are being confused about how many stones we will be getting for this. It would seem to indicate that we will be given one stone that you will be able to use to recruit either one of the 10th anniversary characters or one of these other characters. It's either or, right? It's not both. And I could be wrong here, but the wording here seems to suggest that it is one or the other, right? The lineup includes characters that debuted from March to December, some excluded, right? And this is because it's not including any of these summonable banner units or the heroes units, which is sad. So, but it is there so that those who already recruited the 10th anniversary characters will still be able to exchange for something they don't have yet, right? So, it's, throwing a little bone to you guys out there. So, with that in mind, who is the anniversary character you should pick for the most? We're going to start with that, and then we'll break down who I believe are the top 3 choices, non-anniversary characters. So, in terms of the 6 anniversary LRs, right, above all else, if you're not getting one of the others, you should be picking an anniversary LR. Even Goku Frieza and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, arguably not the greatest compared to some of the others here, but right, if we're thinking long term, right, these characters aren't coming back again until these are carnivals, so the next time you'll see the carnivals is more than likely during worldwide celebration. So it's going to be a long time before you get to use these guys. So if you've already got all the Vegito and Gogeta, then one of the carnivals is definitely a good choice. But the number one choice above all, right, is, for me, I would say Vegito. And the reason I say Vegito, even though Gogeta is quite good and provides a ton of support along with that Ghost Duster active, which is very useful, is that Vegito's leader skill is more all-encompassing. If we're thinking long-term about what's going to carry you through this meta, able to defeat content and, get your stones so you can summon later on, Vegito is going to do that for you. Vegito's leader skill is more broad than the successor's leader skill, while both of them carry Fused Fighters and Pure Saiyans, which is going to be helpful, right? Like, for example, the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the LR Gods would be on Super Saiyan Super Gogeta's lead. A lot of other very, very good and useful characters are on Earth Protecting Heroes, which is mainly for Vegito. So Vegito, he's probably going to carry you more long term. So number one pick out of all the anniversary LRs is Vegito, followed of course by Gogeta. I mean, they are really tied, but just thinking long term in terms of, how you're going to be able to build teams, Vegito will probably do more for you. And And it also helps that he has those busted counter turns, right? So Vegito is number 1 pick, followed by Gogeta, and then the 3rd pick, I would say, is probably Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And again, it's mostly just because of his giant form, right? Giant form plus his SI support once transformed are hugely helpful. Anytime you have an on-demand giant form, that's a good thing, right? Because that means you get a free get out of jail free card for the turn as long as your team can survive the normals. So it is a very, very helpful skill to have. So he is number 3. Gohan followed right behind him, and then Blue Evolution and Goku Frieza behind them. Again, if you're missing any of the carnivals and you've got the main DFEs, then of course, pick who it is that you're missing. Now, for those of you who maybe have gotten all of these, or you really, really, really do not want to grab one of the other carnivals after you've picked up, Vegito and Gogeta, then the question remains, who of those other characters from March to December are worth your coins? So, well, not coins, but worth that stone. So let's, instead of saying number 1 pick, actually, that's probably not a good way to phrase it. Let's start with who I believe you should not choose at all right? And it's not because there's anything wrong with them, but it's specifically because of their return. So starting with UI Goku. UI Goku, while a great choice, while very powerful, and we do know that some of these later fights are now canceling dodge, his domain is going to be very helpful. He will be returning in about 4 weeks on Saiyan Day, March 18th. So not exactly the best use of the stone at the current moment. And with that in mind, that also applies to Tech Vegeta. While a great TUR, in fact incredible on Gogeta's 220% lead, unfortunately, him having the return so close right now, not the best choice for your stone. So I'm just going to throw those two out there as being right out of the question. Now, my number 1 and number 2 picks for the stone in terms of LRs, right? So I'm going to separate this between LRs and TURs, right? Number 1 and number 2 picks between LRs are AGL Jiren and where is he at? There he is. Tech Broly. Now, I know this seems crazy, right? But especially because Tech Broly is already on the banners. However, if you did not pull him, all right, he is definitely the number 1 pick. He is a great slot 1 unit on Vegito and Gogeta's team. Even though he is more likely to be supporting Extreme Class, he works very well under their Pure Saiyan's lead. So he is very, very useful. So if you were missing any of the other characters, he would be a great choice. And I would say followed by Jiren here, specifically for the Battle of Fates, for the full power teams, just because he does provide that slot 1 and he does provide that support. He is going to be on his next return, like the Broly, is going to be very, very late in this year, right? Jiren is most likely going to return during July, during the Part 2 Carnival of Tanabata, and then the Broly will be returning in September during the next Worldwide. So these ones are probably bigger priority because it's going to be a longer gap between when you get them. Now, I don't want to recommend currently Int Broly, Gohan, wrong Gohan, but also he does apply the Fizz Trio or STR Gohan because, well, one Int Broly does require a team to run around him. So unless you've got that team, and if you're someone who started during 10th anniversary, you may not necessarily have the tools to build around him. I don't want to recommend Int Broly currently unless you have the team built around him. Trio goes the same thing. They are not currently on any of the 220% leads, so as much as I want to recommend them, they they kind of have to wait for now because we're thinking about what's going to carry us through the year, and unfortunately them not being on one of the anniversary leads means that they're less of a choice. The same goes for STR Gohan. Although STR Gohan is very good, his standby is very useful. Most of your units are already doing what he does on his standby anyways, just normally now. So I mean, other than him being able to provide that slot 1 in the standby. So that is why I'm not recommending them currently. I will say a runner-up for a choice is the Gotenks, and you know what? I don't even want to say that's a runner-up. Really, I mean, your top 3 choices in terms of LR are, I would say, are Tech Broly, Jiren, and now throwing in Gotenks here. Those are your top 3 choices here. Gotenks is a great addition to both Vegito and Gogeta's team. He's going to give you basically, right, if any of the battle, and there are several, the Battle Hardened Formidable Foes events or the new Red Zone stages have Ki Blast supers, he's basically invulnerable to supers while also hitting back pretty darn hard. And even for non-Ki Blast supers, right, he still has a 50% chance to take double digits on them. So him, Jiren, and Broly are probably Tech Broly are your best choices for LRs. Like Jiren, Gotenks' next return will be in July during the part 2 for Tanabata. So now the question is TURs. Which TUR would be your choice? If you've got all of these LRs, including Jiren and Gotenks, then which TUR is your best choice? I'm going to go ahead and say pretty much none of them except for Daimagoku or Glorio, right? Daimagoku or Glorio. And the reason I say this is, one, they are the most new, so they are the closest in power to the current meta, and their next likely return is during Golden Week. All of the other units, I mean, they are good in their own right, but they will be returning far more often throughout this year than Glorio and Daimagoku. Now, most people probably didn't summon on the New Year's for either one of these characters, despite how powerful they actually are. So what my recommendation in this case is, right, if you have those LRs that I mentioned, if you have the 10th anniversary LRs, then Daimagoku is probably going to be your go-to choice here. Pick up Daimagoku now, knowing that when Golden Week comes around, you can focus on Glorio, or vice versa, right? I mean, I personally think Daimagoku is probably the better choice here because of, 1, his dodge, 2, and once he gets built up, he tanks a lot of things pretty well, even if he misses that dodge or if the event cancels dodge. But his SA effect support is extremely helpful for helping the next rotations, like the fusion rotation that he's not on, helping that rotation deal more damage to help finish off bosses. He's very useful in that regard. Glorio, the same thing, for providing that 3-turn support as a floater. Very, very helpful for a lot of teams. Like, it's a big support, right? We're talking, it's where is it? Attack and defense 50% for 3 turns, right? That's huge. That basically means he's supporting even when he's off rotation, is what that means. So one of these is going to be your best choice for the TURs. Otherwise, your priority should be the 10th anniversary LRs. I know that seems obvious, but you know, I really wanted to take time to break that down. I really don't think anybody else that they are suggesting here is going to be worth the coin unless you're more of a collector. Even Buhan, right, to a degree. Buhan is still very good in a vacuum himself. Slug as well, but like Broly, they need specific setups that, you know, if you're coming into the anniversary here, or unless you've been playing a while, you may not have the full setups necessary to keep them functioning as the content progresses throughout the year. Whereas the characters I recommend are going to get you the most value throughout the course of this year. So, guys, that is it for the video. Again, my top recommendations are Vegito for the 10th anniversary LRs, Tech Broly, Jiren, and Gotenks for the non-anniversary LRs, and then either Daimagoku or Glorio for the TURs, assuming you have all of the previous other mentions here. So that's it for the video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know who will you be picking in 17 hours with your stone. Again, I could be slightly off in this interpretation here, and they might actually be letting you pick both the 10th anniversary character and one of these other characters, in which case that really does open the door for a lot of people here. And it also You know, it also just means that they cook even harder than we thought. One last thing I did want to leave you with, though, if you've already reached your 500 pity coins, I know most people haven't, right? This is a godsend for those who couldn't reach pity. If you've already reached your 500 pity coins, consider who you might use your pity for, and then pick, pick somebody opposite that, right? So if you're going to use your pity for Gogeta, then pick Vegito. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for the video, guys. If nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.